Alright, so we're in historic Gastown in the seedy part of it, I think.
We're not really in Gastown anymore.
We're not really in Gastown anymore. We're doing a tour.
Obviously. We are headed towards the Cathedral District. Hi! Hi! How you doing?
So last night in
Vancouver!
in Canada.
In Canada!
We love
Canada!
We've had some drinks.
No!
Okay, so we are in Cathedral Square. This is the meeting point for the historical walking tour of Gastown.
The Hotel Victoria. Built in 1898, this is the oldest operating hotel in the city. 1898 was a difficult year for me. Here in Vancouver, the Klondike Gold Rush was on. This was a boom town. Men were lined up down on Cordova Street, 10 thick, to be outfitted for their adventure north. Well, that year, in April, I had a bit of trouble here in Vancouver. So I decided I too should head north and find my fortune. That is my old friend, Joe Sinclair. Now what with Joe's leg, there was no way he could make it to the Klondike. But Mr. Kerfoot, who ran the outfitters, let him dress up for the photograph. Rather kind of them. They kept you warm, those coats, at least they did most of the time. Hudson's Bay Trading Company. And what is that building made out of?
Brick.
Brick, yes. And why might that be? So it does not burn down. Absolutely right. To the year after the fire, the city of Vancouver passed its 49th bylaw. From that day forth, every single building in Gastown had to be made out of brick. That's right. Now think about where the brick might have come from. We're going to revisit that later. First, I have some pictures to show you here. The first picture that I'd like to show you is this view. This same view here, down Water Street, taken in the year 1886, taken before the Great Fire. That is the view down Water Street.
That's before the fire?
Before the fire, 1886.
Wow.
You'll note the stump in the middle of the street. It doesn't exist anymore. And now, friends, do you see, just under my finger there, that little white house with the veranda? Little white house. So, friends, remember that little white house. We're going to be visiting where it stood. Ah, now.
Yes, the song of the people.
So we are going to be visiting that and seeing what that noise was all about in just a moment. And now, friends, the next picture I'd like to show you is the same view. The very same view down Water Street, taken in 1887, 1 year after the fire, and only 1 year after this first picture. Under the right circumstances, 1 year can change a lot. No more stumps. The fire was good for some. There's still quite a bit of ash on the ground in this picture. Now, friends, where were we? Ah, yes, the brick. Where do you think the brick might have come from?
Ballast.
Absolutely right. You know the answer to this.
No, I don't. It's because in Boston it was like that, but that's where the...
But yes, absolutely right. So, ballast. So, very good. So, you see, the thing is, there was a resource leaving BC in massive amounts. That resource was lumber. Much of this lumber was headed to England. These ships from England, they had to return with an equivalent weight in, yes, ballast, to stop them from tipping over on the high seas. Brick made for excellent ballast and also had the added benefit of being a construction material upon its arrival. It's the brick. Now, you remember in that picture I showed you, friends, that little white house with the veranda? Yes. That house stood right here. Right here. And that house belonged to Ms. Birdie Stewart. Birdie Stewart. Yes. I do remember the first day that I ever paid Birdie Stewart a visit. It was 1873. I was 18 years old. I walked up to the door, heart beating in my chest, raised my hand to knock. It was shaking. I knocked. Birdie Stewart opened the door. She looked $1 million. Black hair, skating down her back in ringlets. Emerald green dress. The hem swept the floor as she walked. Fantastic gold jewelry. And I remember she was wearing these black lace gloves. Birdie Stewart, she beckoned me to the back to a ruby red curtain which hung all the way down to the floor. She pulled open that curtain like she was opening the door to reveal some forbidden treasure trove. Inside there were 5 women. I could pick one. I just got to pick one. And I remember being struck not by these women's great beauty, but by their apparent boredom. And I don't remember the cost of the arrangement. Money's always slipped through my fingers like water. But I realized that however you dress this up, this was a business transaction. Wasn't the last time I paid Birdie Stewart a visit either. You show me a man in Gastown who's never paid Birdie Stewart a visit, and I'll show you a liar. You visit Birdie, sir?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day? Wow.
We appreciate your honesty.
I didn't visit her every day. Oh, that is the fastest and most certain answer. Yeah. Every day. Never had that before. Good on you, sir. Good on you. So Birdie Stewart, she was the most popular person in town. She and her girls would parade up Water Street each week, flashing their garters at all the men. And where do you think she and her girls were headed? She went once a week. Where was she headed? Oh, the logging camp. Well, she went to the logging camp several times a week. They were most loyal customers. Oh, yes. City Hall is absolutely right, yes. City Hall. She was going to City Hall to pay her weekly $20 fines.
Whoa!
best piece of advertising she ever did. And these fines levied against her by the city, they really added up. Do you know that Bertie Stewart and her girls funded our city's first ever fire engine?
Wow.
They did. It was on order when the Great Fire came, our first fire truck, and it arrived 2 weeks too late. 2 weeks after the fire. Well, sadly, Bertie Stewart, her house burnt to a crisp in that fire. But she survived. And the very next day, she threw up a tent and she helped to care for the sick and the burnt. After the fire, she rebuilt. But it was never the same. The railway was here, Van Horn and the railwaymen, and they brought their wives along. None of them wanted a bawdy house in the middle of Water Street. They were too smart for that. Eventually, Bertie Stewart disappeared. No one knows whatever became of her in the end. She just vanished without a trace. Her house, that little white house, stood right here. So the next time you walk by this building, friends, you take a look in the window. You might catch a glimpse of a woman with long dark hair, an emerald green dress, and black lace. It's just Bertie. She's just keeping an eye on the place. Sent to Maple